Welcome to Rugby from the Stands, everyone. Tomorrow's the day when we all fly to New Zealand. My family are flying out before myself, so they have a 8 o'clock flight out to New Zealand. My flight's later in the evening, but the house is a bit of in a mad state right now. Last minute packing and whatnot. Kids are asleep, so I just wanted to squeeze in a video before the team namings for tomorrow. But before that, I wanted to show you guys something. Check this out. So this is the A1 sized poster that we got made for Ardie. And then I got 4 A2 sized ones for the kids. It's a bit rolled up at the minute. And it reads Ardie for the jersey, for the whanau, for the 100th. Congrats. So yeah, we're quite excited to obviously open that up at Eden Park, and hope Ardie notices it. Let's see how it goes. But I really wanted to talk about the actual game and maybe share some thoughts before the game. I'm not really sure whether I'll be able to put out any videos before the game. So this is basically where my headspace is at. Obviously, this is a crucial game for both teams, just from purely the rugby championship standpoint. Whoever who wins this basically has an upper hand in the tournament. Also, a lot of people haven't spoken about the Australia-Argentina game either. But if Australia does win and beat Argentina, Australia will probably have the strongest chance of actually winning the TRC. Obviously, they have to still beat the All Blacks, but considering what they've done so far, beating England last year, beating the Lions, I still consider that the Australians probably won it, 2-1. I know it was a bit controversial with that second game, but they nearly won it. Third one, they won quite comfortably. They beat the Boks at Ellis Park quite convincingly. And so they are in the driver's seat right now. Whereas I feel like for the Boks and for the All Blacks to wrestle back momentum and standings on the table, whoever who wins this game will probably be in a better position. So it's a must win for both of them. However, if you take a step back, I think from a Springbok standpoint, obviously you want to go in and give your best. You want to really do your absolute best. But at the same time, you could probably afford to lose the first game, and as long as you can come back in Wellington and beat the ABs, your chances of winning the rugby championship is still alive and well, assuming you lose one but win in Wellington. Obviously, as an All Black fan, you don't want any of that to happen. I think considering the Springboks beat the All Blacks in South Africa last year in both games, I think, the All Blacks will want to win both games in New Zealand as well. So that's essentially where the All Blacks headspace is probably at. In terms of the team selection, I think there's been quite a lot of issues from a injury standpoint, quite a bit of injuries for the halfbacks. You've got Cam Roigard. They've been announced that he's not going to be ready for this weekend. Cortez Ratima, they're literally waiting till the last minute to make a call whether he's going to be playing or not. Now you're pretty much, and then you've got also Noah Holtham, who's out. We're pretty much down to Finlay Christie and potentially Kyle Preston. It's not a bad thing, to be honest. I thought Finlay Christie played really well in the last game against Argentina, possibly one of the better players on the field. He also played really well against the Boks when the All Blacks beat the Boks at Ellis Park to save Ian Foster's job. So I think he's played against the Boks. He knows them really well. And I think one crucial element as well is his combination with Body is probably quite useful. They both play for the Blues. And I think that combination, they both know each other. They know they played the entire season together. So I think because of that, Finlay Christie will probably start. Again, assuming Cortez is unfit. But if Cortez is fit, I think Cortez will obviously take the reins and Finlay Christie comes off the bench. Having said that, I think because the Boks don't play Super Rugby anymore, I think it's going to be interesting to include Kyle Preston simply because of his kicking game. He can kick with both feet, which is going to be incredibly useful. He's obviously quite nippy. He's always in the right places, at least in Super Rugby level. And I think he potentially could be a real cool wild card. And I think a sort of a surprise package against the Boks. But that's at halfback. So I know it's not the most ideal. I would have loved to have Cam Roigard steering the ship. He's premier halfback in the All Blacks camp, but I feel like Finlay Christie and Kyle Preston probably might be able to steer the ship as well. We also have Xavier Rowe come in as additional cover, considering we're pretty much down to our last bit, literally at the bottom of the barrel right now. People are talking about potentially bringing in, Aaron Smith back, which I doubt is going to happen. But yeah, halfback is really an issue. There's question marks again around the back three as well. Everyone's talking about who could potentially support Will Jordan at the back, especially when it comes to the high ball kicking. And I feel like Rieko Ioane, I love Rieko, but I don't really see him really taking on those high balls. And I think that's a weakness in his game, which I think the Springboks will try and exploit. So that's going to be an issue. Sevu Reece, again, I don't see him catching high balls confidently either. He hasn't really given us that performance, at least when the Argentinians were going aerially. I didn't see Sevu Reece, again, being in the right places and catching. A lot of the catching was down to Will Jordan, which isn't great. So you want all three of your back three to be on point when it comes to catching high balls. So quite a lot of question marks. Then you also got the midfield question about, is it going to be Proctor? Are we going to move Rieko Ioane into the 13 position? Are we going to give Quinn Tupaia a chance, to start? Also, there's the question of Lester Fainga'a that they've brought in to cover for Timothy Tautauanawai's injury. So again, quite a lot of question marks at this stage. But I think it's going to be interesting to see who Razor actually finally goes with. In terms of, sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. In terms of the team selection, I reckon my team for this Saturday's clash from the All Black side, again, I'll give you two teams. One is the team that I think Razor will go with, and then I'll give you another team that I would pick, right? I think the front row, I'm going to go with Ethan de Groot, Cody Taylor, and Tyler and Fletcher Newell. I'm not going to, put Tyrell Lomax in, even though he's available. I think it's a bit of a risk putting him in straight away. I think he'll be a lot more impactful coming in off the bench. On the flip side, if Fletcher Newell does, get an injury at the start of the game, then Tyrell Lomax will have to play the entire game, which that is a risk. But I would rather start with Fletcher Newell, who's in form and has been fantastic at tight head prop. So I would keep him there and bring Lomax off the bench. And then on the South Africa team side, I would go with obviously Oxenshire, Malcolm Marx, and I will go with with Wilco Low. I think for a game like this, you want experience, and I'm going with an experienced front row on the South Africa side as well. On the locks, Scott Barrett, obviously, on the All Black side, partnered by Fabian Holland, and I also want Tupuwai at number 6. I think that's what Razor will go with. And then on South Africa, we've got Eben Etzebeth, and I am going Lut Diaga, because I think Lut Diaga and Eben Etzebeth are really good partnership there. Lut Diaga is actually a very, very intelligent. So is Eben Etzebeth. A lot of people talk about his strength and his, brute force and, his sort of enforcer persona. But actually, if you've been watching Eben Etzebeth over the last decade or more, he's actually an incredibly intelligent, high IQ rugby player. He really understands what needs to be done at the right time. He reads the game really well, understands his role within pressure situations. So I think I really rate Eben higher in terms of rugby IQ than his just brute force. And then at number 6, this is a bit of a tough one, to be honest. I would probably go with Siya Kolisi at number 6, Peter Steff at 7, and at number 8, I'm going with Kwagga Smith. I think Marco van Staden could, start at number 6 as well. I don't think that's an issue, but I would rather go with Siya Kolisi at 6, Kwagga Smith. You can put Kwagga at, at the start of the game, end of the game, you put him at 8, you put him at 6. He, he does his job. He's someone that you can always trust. On the All Black side, I did say Tupawai at 6. I'm going with Ardie at 7, and at 8, I'm going with Wallace Satiti. Again, I'm not sure how Razor might play it. He might go with Simon Parker at 8, and then bring Wallace off the bench. But at least for me, I think the Vai, Vea, and Satiti partnership, I think it's a strong one. It balances obviously with height and size of Tupawai along with the speed and agility and power of Ardie and Satiti, right? And then at 9, if Cortez is fit for the All Blacks, he's starting. If not, I'm assuming he's out. Again, we'll find out tomorrow. At 9, I'm going with Finlay Christie, and on the bench, bringing in Kyle Preston. And then for the Springboks at number 9, they did call in Faf de Klerk into the squad, but I wouldn't be starting him. Again, I don't know. Rassie can do whatever he wants, obviously, and he will do whatever he wants. But at least I thought Grant Williams played really, really well, and I think I'll probably stick to Grant Williams. I really like what I saw. He's very nippy, very fast. His passing is also impeccable. He's got some really good wide passing capabilities, and his sort of sniping runs are a joy to watch. And I think the only reason why I would be tempted to put in Faf de Klerk at 9 is because my 10 for the Boks will be obviously Handré Pollard. I don't think Rassie is going to put anyone else other than Handré Pollard for this big game. And Faf and Handré have obviously built a decent enough combination over the years. They understand each other, they trust each other. So I think for that reason, it makes sense to bring in Faf. But I don't think he's played many games, or has he even played any games this year? I don't think he has. And so for me, in terms of form, I think Grant Williams was playing really well. I thought Grant Williams and Handré Pollard played really well in the last game against the Wallabies. So for me, I'm going with Grant Williams and Pollard. At number 10, I didn't mention on the All Black side, I'm going with Borden Barrett, because I did mention Finlay Christie, Borden Barrett. The Blues combination to me makes sense. And then who's coming off the bench? Yeah, I don't have a 10 replacement in the Boks side, so I think Handré will have to play the full 80, which is something that he did against the Wallabies as well. For the All Blacks, we know that they generally like to have Damien McKenzie, who can cover both first 5 and also fullback. So yeah, he's coming off the bench. In the midfield, obviously number 12, Jordie Barrett, vice captain. At number 13, Billy Proctor is my pick. Sorry, not my pick, but the pick that I think Razor will go with tomorrow. If I were to pick a 13, I'd probably go with Billy Proctor as well. You've got that Hurricanes combination between the two, and there's at least some level of trust built between the two, having played together for some time. Obviously, Jordie Barrett did play for Leinster this year, so they didn't have a lot of game time together. But I think Billy Proctor hasn't done badly. He hasn't really owned that jersey yet. He hasn't shown that he has staked his claim for that jersey yet, and I think that's something that we'll have to probably see. I am really tempted to bring in Quinn Tupaia at 13. I know he's not he hasn't played at 13 this year. He's more of a 12, but I feel like Quinn Tupaia probably brings in a lot of front foot ball, and he'll give you that, inline. He'll get you yards over the gain line. So I think Quinn Tupaia is probably, again, I'm probably biased towards some of the Chiefs players, and I'm also a massive fan of Quinn Tupaia. So that's probably fueling my reasoning. But yeah, I think Billy Proctor, you've got to stick with the Jordie Barrett Billy Proctor combination. And then at 11 and 14 for New Zealand, I'm going at so this is what I think Razor is going to go with. He's going to go with Rieko Ioane at 11, He's going to go with Sevu Reece at 14, and he's going to go with Will Jordan at fullback. If I were picking the team, I'd go with Imoni Narawa at 11. I would go with Will Jordan at 15, and I would go with Leroy Carter at 14. Yeah, that would be my pick. In terms of the Springboks midfield, I think, the midfield selects picks itself. You've got Damien Delende, Jesse Creel. No one's changing that. Mapimpi is back in the squads because Curtly Arons is ruled out, so I'll probably go with him at 11. And then you've got Justin Colby at number 14. And at 15, question mark, who do you go with? Damien Williamson, Willie LaRue, or Apalele Fassi? I'm a Fassi fan, to be honest. I think he's got long legs, big reach, great under the high ball, and an exciting player to watch. But I think for this kind of game, you'd want your senior statesman in the side. And so I'll probably have Willie LaRue at 15. But Damien Williamson is also exceptional at the high balls as well. So, he's not a bad shout either. On the bench, this one's for me at least at 16. I'll go with Jan Hendrik Wessels, Boan Venter, and Thomas du Toit to come off the bench. And for the All Blacks, I am going with Samisoni Takiaho, Tamaiti Williams, and Tyrell Lomax. Well, yeah, pretty strong front row coming off the bench for the All Blacks there. For locking replacements off the bench for the All Blacks, I'll go with Josh Lord. And for the Springboks, I'll go with Ardie Savea. You also have Marco van Staden coming off the bench, Jean-Luc Dupree, and Damien Williamson for me at 23. For the All Blacks, who do we got here at 20? I would like to bring Kirifi, and then 21, as I mentioned before, Kyle Preston. 22, Quinn Tupaia. If Billy Proctor is starting, Quinn Tupaia come off the bench. If Quinn Tupaia is starting, I think Proctor off the bench. But honestly, I'll probably go with Billy Proctor and Geordie and Quinn Tupaia off the bench. But I think Razor will go with ALB, Anton Leonard-Brown. Then 23, Damien McKenzie. It's going to be the schedule there's rain scheduled for Saturday, 85% chance of rain, but based on the Apple weather app, which is probably not the most accurate app to judge the weather conditions for Saturday, I think it looks like it's going to clear up at 7:00 by the time the game starts. So there might be some wetness on the ball, but I think it should be cleared up by then. But even if it does rain, then I think the game plan is quite clear, regardless of whether it's going to be raining or not. I think from the South Africa standpoint, it's going to be high balls galore. From an attack standpoint, they would try, Pollard, they'll kick off Pollard, they'll kick off Grant Williams or Faf, and then Makazole, Mapimpi, and Chesley Colby will and obviously Willie LaRue as well, will put in a lot of pressure from a high ball standpoint, try and, regather. We even saw Eben Etzebeth trying to regather some high balls as well, and also the forwards getting in the mix. Quagga is going to be there to, provide that, that pressure. And then I think a set piece is going to be really important. In the first game against the Wallabies, the South Africans didn't do really well with the maul. I think they lost quite a bit of their own ball at maul time. So they'll want to go for the success that they had at Cape Town, 100% success at set piece. I think it's going to be interesting to see scrums, how they will go about the two front rows. It's going to be epic. It's going to be an epic battle between the two front rows. It's going to be also quite interesting. But the breakdown is where I think this game is going to be won or lost. And I think the back rows are going to be incredibly important. You really need some fast ball, clean clear outs, making it easy for the halfbacks to just get the ball out, either, again, kick or, pass out wide to your first five, who would then, from the Springboks perspective, would probably kick as well. So I am expecting a bit of a kick tennis between Borden Barrett and Pollard, but it's going to be interesting to see. I'm expecting this game to be more for the purists. I don't think it's a game that, if you were not really interested in rugby, I'm not 100% sure whether you might even enjoy it, but this is definitely a game for the purists. So I think from a Springbok perspective, like I said, they want to make sure that their set piece is on point. They don't want to give away penalties at the breakdown. They would play the territory game, lots of kicking, not just high balls. I think they'll do a lot of that, but at the same time, they'll kick. Guys like Willie LaRue is impeccable when it comes to finding gaps and spaces out back and trying to get that territory. So that's how I feel like they're going to play. They'll try and spoil All Black tempo. Jesse Creel will go really hard from a line speed standpoint, trying to blitz and bring that sort of defensive shape to really spoil the All Blacks' momentum. From an All Black standpoint, I think the blueprint was shared. I think was shown by the Wallabies how they played. They had a lot of courage and guts to get the ball out wide. They threw those bridge passes out wide, which is highly risky, but at the same time got a lot of pay. I think the All Blacks will want to try and play at a very high tempo and get the Boks forwards running and out of breath. I think we all saw how at Ellis Park how the forwards really struggled when there was a lot very high ball in play. So I think we're going to see more of that from the All Blacks standpoint. I would also expect Body to kick as well. I wouldn't be surprised if the All Blacks trying the kicking game as part of their attack strategy as well. We know that Wayne Smith was part of the coaching team this Monday. He was seen with the team and with the players. And Wayne Smith is a guy who doesn't really like box kicks a lot. He prefers you to, retain ball possession. And I think if again, it's up to Razor to obviously implement the game plan. But if I were to listen to Wayne Smith, I'll probably keep ball in hand. Make the Boks run around, tire the Boks forwards, and try and bring in fatigue into play. So I think high tempo game is what the All Blacks are going to bring to this game, is what I'm expecting. Also, if you think about it, right, rugby, in terms of how rugby has progressed, the more conservative approach seems to be the approach that wins you games. Strong defense, strong set piece, and keeping things really tight. Low risk type of rugby has generally won out versus teams that like to play an expansive style of rugby. So if I were to just go by styles, I think the All Blacks haven't really clicked when it comes to wanting to play at tempo. I think the only time we really saw that click was in that first 40 minutes in that second test against France in Wellington. Put up I think they just demolished the French in that first 40 minutes. That was an exceptional display of some running rugby, and at the same time the forwards playing really, really well and giving the back some really good forward momentum. But other than that 40 minutes, we really haven't seen the All Blacks click. You see a lot of mistakes, unforced errors happening, and that's the risk that you have of playing such a high tempo game. So it's going to be interesting to see how Scott Robertson's All Blacks will be. But it'll be hard for me to imagine any other way that they'd want to play. I think it's going to be high risk, high reward type of situation. Lastly, I'd also want to say that from a pressure standpoint, again, how well in this week the All Blacks are going to handle pressure is going to be crucial. They shouldn't look at this as a burden, the Eden Park record. I think right now they don't really have a lot of the favor of the New Zealand public. Not a lot of them are convinced by the performances so far. And I think this is the All Blacks' opportunity to really, show the world what they can do and put up a really strong performance. And right now, they'll probably feel like they've got the backs to the wall, and so they will try and go out there and ensure that they showcase that this Eden Park record is not something that they're willing to give away lightly. On the flip side, if I was Rassie Erasmus, I will be telling the Boks that, look, guys, not a lot of people are expecting us to win at Eden Park. And even if we do lose, it'll just be, oh yeah, the Springboks lost at Eden Park. The All Blacks never lose at Eden Park. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. However, for the All Blacks, if they lose at Eden Park, I can just imagine the backlash in the media and by All Blacks fans and New Zealand fans all over the world will start to echo. And a lot of questions are going to be asked. I think any goodwill that people had for Razor will probably be gone. And I think the Ian Foster treatment will be given to Razor, and that is why I feel like it's a must-win for the All Blacks, because the backlash is going to be horrific. In terms of pressure, if I was Rassie Erasmus, I would just tell the guys to, hey, let's put in a lot of pressure on the All Blacks. Let's play in the right areas of the field. Let's get into their half and get them to make mistakes, scrum for penalties, jackal as hard as you can, get penalties in that, in their half. And you got Andre Pollard who can slot in those penalties and then just keep that scoreboard pressure on and try and get that All Blacks crowd, the All Blacks fans and the crowd at Eden Park, try and get them to get quiet, try to get the fans themselves to add pressure on the All Blacks. And once you start showcasing that and just staying within scoring point deficit, I think the Springboks will always be able to have a chance. So if I was, from an All Black standpoint, you really have to have at least 2 scores ahead. You cannot go into the last 20 to 10 minutes with a point difference of, 2 penalties or a try. Like, it has to be more than 7 points for the All Blacks to be able to win it. You cannot go into that last 10 minutes with a 3-point lead or 4-point lead or even a 5-point lead. It needs to be more than a 7-point lead, preferably 14 even, because that what South Africa are going to bring is the pressure game. Because from a All Black standpoint, once you start to mess with your mind in terms of, oh no, they're leading, we are chasing this game, and this is a 51 game streak, winning streak, or unbeaten streak, 31 years unbeaten at Eden Park, and it's all coming crashing down. I think that'll start to weigh in on the players if the Springboks are able to squeeze the All Blacks, not give them any opportunity to score, and then they can put in that scoreboard pressure. I think the Boks would have the advantage. Having said that, the All Blacks are going to come out. They're going to be playing, and they will play the brand of rugby that the Wallabies played at Ellis Park, at tempo. And obviously this is also a special game because it's going to be Ardie's 100th, like I mentioned at the start of the video. And I think there's going to be a lot of emotions at play. And I think there's even talks. I saw one of the rugby influencers, Ella Ferguson, I think. I'm sorry if I got her name wrong. I follow her on Instagram and on YouTube as well. But she did suggest that we'd see the haka done by the entire crowd, when the whole crowd to join in when the All Blacks do the haka, and I think that's going to be epic. If I really hope that someone makes this happen. I'll be at the game obviously with my kids and my wife and our friends, and for us to be able to just look around and see everybody doing the haka at the game is going to be simply epic. I don't think I've seen that ever happen before at a international test game. I've obviously seen a lot of these like communal hakas being done at I think, schoolboy rugby in New Zealand, but outside of that, I haven't seen like the crowd getting involved. So I think that's going to be epic. Like they'd really want to show the Springboks that this is their turf and that Eden Park is not going to be a walk in the park for them. And also the spectators trying to bring in that energy and try and help the All Blacks to dominate and to have that psychological edge as well. So I think it's going to be an epic game. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be a tactical battle. It's going to be an arm wrestle, man. I think it's going to be a close one. But if the All Blacks are to win it, they will really need to be brave. They'll need to be courageous. They'll need to take their chances, especially getting that space out wide. Getting the ball out wide is going to be crucial. The kicking game is going to be crucial. Catching up in the air is going to be crucial as well. One other thing I forgot to mention in terms of the team selection as well, I would love to see in the back three, actually, Ruben Love being given an opportunity at 15, move Will Jordan to 11, then give Leroy Carter or Imoni Narawa 14. That would also be pretty cool to see. I think Ruben Love will probably be, another attacking threat. Because right now, when you have Rieko Ioane, you have Sivu Reece, and you've got Will Jordan, I don't feel like there's an attacking threat amongst the three. I think Will Jordan is the only one who is a genuine attacking threat. So I feel like, give Imoni Narawa an opportunity, give Ruben Love an opportunity, and I think the three of them will be attacking threats. So I think that's going to be pretty interesting as well. So that's the game. Like I said, man, it's going to be epic. I can't wait. We still have a lot of packing to do last minute. So I will see you guys at the game. I'll try and get some content out. I'll try and speak to some fans, Boks fans and All Blacks fans. If you guys are at the game, please come say hi. Like I said, we've got the posters. So we'll be walking around with those posters. And so come say hi. Let's, have some fun banter. And yeah, man, let's just enjoy rugby. This is going to be an absolutely epic game. The game of the year. Everyone was looking forward to. Everyone was circling this game at the start of the year, and it's nearly there, everyone. And I just can't wait. Like and subscribe. Please help the channel. We're still a very new channel. I'm still learning as I go as well, and I'm trying to improve as I go. And, your subscriptions, your likes, your comments really do give me fuel as well to put these videos out every week. So I really appreciate that. So let's see how the game goes. Lots more content to come. And have a good one, guys. Thanks.